No matter what year it is, there never seems to be a lack of PlayStation fanboys trying to justify why their box of plastic is superior to another box of plastic, or how it's superior to a PC, and today we'll be looking at one of those videos from a channel with some questionable content, to say the very least. So without further delay, I'll let the video play.
The console war has been raging for years. Battles between Xbox and Sony fanboys going on every day in YouTube comment sections. One side believes they're the better, and the other side has been holding on to something great from the past for so long now that I doubt they even remember what they're fighting for.
You're asking a bit too much from fanboys like yourself to remember what they're fighting for, and the small digs at Xbox are pretty cringy to say the least. People aren't stuck in the past with Halo, and if anything, Sony fanboys are the ones stuck in the past nowadays, as they love the idea of restricting gaming overall for the benefits of a giant corporation like Sony, who doesn't even know they exist. I don't get the point in pretending like one group of fanboys is better than the other when you're both a group of people who the majority of gamers mock 24/7.
Nintendo fans usually stay out of it because they're too distracted by whoever the next Smash character is.
Most Nintendo players are usually fanboying for another system or making awful videos in gaming topics and sometimes political shit, like everyone's favourite Nintendo fanboy Harmon Smith. And let's be honest here, the main reason the vast majority of Nintendo players don't chat shit is because they play on an incredibly underpowered device which is priced extortionately for what it is, and their only arguments usually just consist of my Mario and my Pokemon.
There's one other party in gaming that gets to watch the war comfortably from the sideline in a throne of what they think is superiority. And that party, of course, is PC gamers.
I mean, yeah, when you see people fighting over what plastic box is better than the other, it's fun as fuck to come in and shit on both of them, which in my opinion is perfectly fine, but when it comes to the whole PC master race bullshit, if you're unironically taking part in that and actively shitting on innocent console users, you're just pathetic. And I don't think anyone can make a legitimate argument to prove otherwise.
More powerful hardware, mods, better frame rates, better graphics, higher resolution, ray tracing.
For a PlayStation fanboy, I'm surprised he doesn't know that the consoles now have ray tracing capabilities. They might not be very capable of doing it, but they sure as hell have the technology to do it, and games like Miles Morales as well as many others prove that.
And better controls are things that any gamer god in the PC master race would tell you make them superior.
The things you listed definitely give you a superior gaming experience, and that's undeniable. Also, the fact he brings up quote-unquote better controls on PC is extremely ironic considering how much he dislikes mouse and keyboard.
Not a PC gamer at all. This is not fun. How do I aim? Why do people game with freaking mouse and keyboard? It's so disgusting. This isn't how you're meant to game. I'm so bad at this. I'm starting to get the hang of it. I can feel the gamer juices flowing. Oh gosh.
Plus, I don't think anyone is out here trying to claim mouse and keyboard is a superior peripheral than controller for all games. When it comes to racing games, controller will obviously always be king. However, the amount of controller support on things like Steam is great and 100% superior to what consoles offer, due to the very simple fact you can use pretty much any HID compliant controller you want in Steam Big Picture mode.
But is this really true? Is the debate between PC and console really that simple?
If we're talking about an objectively better experience, then I think PC will almost always win. But you can make an argument for any platform being better than another in my experience. However, if you do what you're doing, where you make very poor arguments as well as do the things you hate PC Master Race dumbasses doing, like shitting on certain platforms for almost no reason, then your arguments start to weaken very quickly.
No. To start, I've always found it funny that pretty much any PC gamer you find will talk about how games look better on PC with things like resolution, frame rates, and all-around graphical fidelity. Yet, if you look at the top games played by PC gamers, it's mostly competitive multiplayer games or survival games, none of which are shining examples of good graphics.
What the fuck does that have to do with if games look better on PC or console? Just because some older titles are still popular on PC, that doesn't mean every other multiplayer game suddenly looks like shit on PC. Gaming on PC undeniably has better graphics than on console, and to even try and claim otherwise is pure ignorance.
What looks better, CSGO or The Last of Us on PS3?
You serious?
You know your arguments are pathetically weak when you start comparing games from 2012 and 2013 to show how consoles are better than PCs in 2021. How does someone edit a video and then upload it without realizing how utterly moronic that example is? Also, one is a competitive shooter designed to run on almost anything, and the other one is a linear single player game. And if you're going to compare games, then at the very least, compare the same game to itself on multiple platforms. Comparing two entirely different games to each other to reach a conclusion about what platform is better is mind-blowingly stupid. If The Last of Us was available on PC, it would look better than it did on console due to the very simple fact that PC hardware is far more powerful and for blatantly obvious reasons.
I don't care if you can run Minecraft with nice water effects, it's still a game that's made out of blocks.
God forbid a game has a simple art style which can be amplified by shader packs on Java Edition and RTX support on Bedrock Edition.
When you think of good graphics, you think of games like God of War, Uncharted, The Last of Us, Demon's Souls.
I don't quite think Demon's Souls is a great example of a game with good graphics, considering how it launched on the PS5 without taking advantage of any of the new technology available to it like ray tracing, other than fucking DualSense, which literally nobody but games journalists give a shit about. And I sure as hell don't think of the original Last of Us when I think of good graphics in 2021, my guy.
Games that are all exclusives to PlayStation.
It's pretty likely that we'll see The Last of Us or The Last of Us Part 2 coming to PC sometime after Days Gone, and I don't think anyone would be surprised if Demon's Souls came to PC either.
I don't care that you can run Rust or PUBG with an uncapped frame rate, neither of those games are as visually impressive as The Last of Us Part 2.
Believe it or not, but good graphics aren't what makes a game good, and The Last of Us 2 is an absolute perfect example of that, as it's a terrible game with good graphics. Once again, you're using games which aren't on the PC, so we can't compare the PC version to the PlayStation version to see what one is better. Plus, even still, anyone with half a functioning brain cell could definitively tell you that the PC version would have superior graphics, and it doesn't take a genius to figure that out, when the hardware available for gaming PCs is a hell of a lot more powerful than a PS5/Xbox Series X. Just by looking at the current PlayStation games on PC, you can easily see the PC versions are far superior to their console counterparts.
And the newest consoles are able to run games at 60 FPS and higher resolutions.
No shit.
I'd hope so, since that is literally the whole point of having generations in gaming.
Is it really worth it to pay so much more for a PC just so that you can run a game at a higher frame rate?
Yeah, if you have the money, it is 1010% worth it. I genuinely can't go back to playing games in 30 FPS anymore due to how choppy of an experience it is compared to 144 FPS and even 60 frames per second. Even when I'm playing at 60 FPS on some titles like Doom Eternal, it feels awful compared to when I'm playing it at a higher FPS. It's also not just to run the games at a higher frame rate, it's also to run them at a higher resolution, frame rate, have access to hundreds more games than you would on console, and access to amazing sales on Steam, as well as insanely good controller support, plus much more. High FPS is only one of the benefits to playing on PC, and at the moment, PCs don't cost that much more than a PS5 or Xbox Series X would, due to how inflated those prices are, thanks to stock shortages.
Personally, I don't think so. But of course, there are people out there who do. For me, what it really comes down to is, what experience do you want from gaming? If you're looking for only competitive online multiplayer, then I'll have to admit PC gaming takes the dub here. Frame rates, more key bindings, and mouse controls are definitely beneficial for that type of gaming. Do you want to be able to mod games? Then PC gaming takes the dub here again. I'm extremely sad that I didn't get to play RE2 Remake with the Ada lingerie mod.
Damn, if you're upset about missing out on that, then I'm sure you're weeping right now over the Tall Witch Lady mods on PC. But in all seriousness, I don't think I'll ever grasp how console fanboys constantly think that having a higher FPS count is only good for competitive multiplayer games, when in reality it's good for almost any type of game.
Do you want to play a survival game where you're tasked with tediously finding supplies, building your home base, and then repeating that cycle? Like, seriously, I don't understand how people get so excited for these games. Minecraft, Rust, 7 Days to Die, Ark Survival, Valheim. These are all such similar games. Let me go out and click on a tree for 5 minutes so I can then go out and hold click on rocks for 5 minutes.
This logic can be applied to almost any game. All you need to do in The Last of Us is click buttons to pick stuff up, move and kill things, then watch a stretched out cutscene. How is that fun? See how fucking brain-numbingly ignorant that kind of pseudo-logic is now? That logic can be applied to pretty much anything you do in your life as well. Also, does this guy unironically think that the only people who play Ark Survival Evolved and Minecraft are PC players or something?
So I can then go out and gather some other resources that's harder and more tedious to find. How's that fun? But that's a different topic. If you're into survival games like that, then PC takes yet another dub.
It's fascinating to me that he seemingly thinks the only games available on PC are survival titles, even though the games he draws for are for the most part also on PC, or are coming to PC in the near future, like Uncharted 4 and other PlayStation exclusives.
But if you're a gamer like me, you're looking for something else from games. I want those single-player gaming experiences that are filled with wonder and exploration, horror and suspense, fun and entertainment, stories you won't forget. I want those legendary games that make a lasting impact on you. It all comes down to the games you can play. And in my opinion, the platform that offers more of the great gaming experiences I am looking for is console.
Then you must be tripping, my guy, because shit like The Witcher 3, the Resident Evil remakes, and Red Dead 2, the Dishonored games, and many more great single player games are also available on PC, or once again will be coming to PC in the near future like the PlayStation titles you've been fanboying over the entire video.
Sony has some great studios producing amazing exclusive titles that I would not want to miss out on PC. So for me, console is still the way to go. It doesn't matter how powerful your hardware is if you aren't able to play the best games on it.
I guess he doesn't know that we've been able to play most of these exclusive titles through PS and now on PC for years.
That being said, some of the big titles from PlayStation library are being released on PC, and if this trend continues to the point where most of the PlayStation exclusive games become available on PC, then there won't really be a point to own a console, and I too will join the PC master race. But for now, console it is. And not Xbox.
There will still be a shit ton of reason to buy a console over a PC when the majority of PlayStation titles come to places like Steam. Just like the fact that consoles are obviously cheaper, which is the entire point of owning a console in the first place, over buying a gaming PC. Now we have thankfully reached the end of this horrifically bad video, so with all that being said, please do not forget to do all the things YouTubers love to beg you to do, aka check out my Discord server, my Twitter, as well as like, comment and subscribe. So I'll see you all in the next video.